Welcome to Restaurant Catering Smarts, your go-to podcast for restaurateurs looking to better operate and grow their catering profit centers. With every episode, you can count on expert advice, innovative strategies, and tasty tips straight from industry leaders. Our purpose is to help your business thrive. So, let's dig in to another juicy episode.
Hello again. I am Michael Attias, your host of Restaurant Catering Smarts, and today's guest is Christian Hilty, VP of Partnerships at DeliverThat. Christian has been with DeliverThat since its early days, playing a key role in its pivot into catering. He's passionate about helping restaurants take control of their operations and boost their bottom line through first-party off-premise strategies and platforms. With a background in leadership and growth in the startup world, Christian thrives on building scalable solutions and meaningful relationships. Outside of work, he's a proud dad of 3 and an avid basketball, golf, and softball player, and we're excited to have him on the show today. But before we get started, let's take a minute to recognize our sponsor, CaterZen Catering Software. They help restaurants turn their catering chaos into calm. Discover why restaurants trust CaterZen to save them time and increase sales. Go to CaterZen.com and sign up for a walkthrough of the software. Now let's dive into this episode of Restaurant Catering Smarts. Welcome, Christian. How are you doing today?
Doing great. Thank you for having me on, man.
Yeah. Feel like we talk all the time, but have a face. I think I've seen you on a Zoom call before. I definitely have a face for radio. So
Sam, that's what I was just telling Ben.
Yeah, that's okay. Got to keep the pretty boys employed.
That's right.
Okay. Question. Give me a number between 1 and 300.
9.
Oh, you're going low. If I had to give up some modern convenience like TV, car, toilet, telephone, lighting, I would select what?
Give up modern convenience. I think phone would be a good one. I feel like that would be
Really?
so liberating.
You could live your whole life without your phone.
Well, I couldn't do my work without my phone.
No. You got to give it up. It's like gone, cold turkey.
All right, I would give up my car and switch to motorcycle. Only my wife could drive the car.
Interesting. That's not a bad one.
Yeah, give up the car and I'd be on like an electric scooter or motorcycle all the time.
You probably need a sidecar for the 3 kids.
Yeah, 100%.
That would be fun.
I'm going to need a couple sidecars.
Hey, your wife would prefer a sidecar than a side chick, so that's
right.
probably a good.
There you go.
Good move. There's this guy that used to come in at the Starbucks when I lived in another part of town, and he had like what do they call it? A scooter with a sidecar. And He had 3 golden retrievers, and they wore doggles.
Goggles, yeah.
The doggles.
Yeah.
Like, dude, this guy was like, every time he rolled up, everybody was just wanting to hang with the dogs.
I feel like golden retriever owners are like a breed of their own. Those golden retrievers will go anywhere with them.
Dude, I've thought about, this isn't a dating podcast, but I've thought a good service would be Wing Pup. You rent a dog for the day.
Yeah.
Because I can tell you, like, if I'm walking down the street and there could be a girl that is like butt ugly, but if she's got a golden retriever, I would consider marrying her.
You at least have to spark a conversation. Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
And if it was a puppy, like, we're headed to Genesis Diamonds and we're picking out stones.
Yeah, I love it. I have 3 dogs at home. So on top of the 3 kids, I have 3 dogs and a cat. It's a full house. They're not helping me pick up chicks these days. They're just keeping me on my toes.
Yeah, you definitely don't need to be thinking of that with 3 kids, and I don't even want to know how the cat got in the mix, but that's a whole nother,
That's a different podcast.
If you have farmland and you want snakes and rodents taken care of, you need a cat.
There you go. Yeah.
Or otherwise. Okay, so let's reel this back in. How'd you get in do you have a restaurant background, or how'd you get in this business?
No, in college, so I went to Ohio State. In college, I was a bar back, and I worked at Panera Bread until football season. They tried to get me to work every football game, except you're allowed to take 1 off. So I quit Panera Bread day before the first football game at Ohio State. But that would be the extent of my restaurant background. I actually signed up while I was in college to be a driver on the platform. I was working those side jobs at bars and stuff like that, and signed up for really just a side hustle. I end up on my ride along. At the time, it was ride along was how we onboarded drivers. You go learn how to set up sternos, set up a catering order in general. And the person taking me on my ride along was Aaron Hoffman, one of our co-founders. So yeah, they had just made the pivot to catering. They had just sparked up with Easy Cater, doing some easy dispatch stuff. And I was like, this sounds really cool. I now have your cell phone number. So I just pestered him until I graduated college and joined the team. So this is my first job, my first real job ever out of college.
Really?
Yeah.
Mine lasted, I started off as a dishwasher, and so I was in the business forever. My first job was archive storage sales. Do you know what that is?
No.
Bankers' boxes of files that nobody wants, so they store them in a warehouse, like law firms, CPA firms.
Okay.
I would rather watch paint dry
Then sell that.
It was terrible. And after 2 years, my boss comes in, and like he and the guy who was, the guy who owned part of the company, and then my direct boss, they bled records. Like they geeked out over records. I'm like, I don't get it. Like, it's records, like nothing exciting. So he comes into my office. I just got married, just bought a house, and he goes, Michael, you're just not hitting your numbers lately. You think you need another month to make your numbers? I go, no, Russ, you should probably just fire me today.
Yeah, I think this isn't it.
So he gave me a month's severance, which, at the time, a month's severance, that was a lot of money.
Yeah.
And I took everything in a banker's box, and I went in my car and I cried tears of joy. It was more relief of the stress.
Sure.
And then I went back to Corky's, and the rest is history, I guess.
Yeah.
So it's interesting how people get started.
It is. Yeah. It feels like the luckiest thing in the world looking back at it, because I was doing Postmates, Uber Eats, all the little side gigs, and somebody was like, have you heard of Deliver That? Well, of course not. It was just getting started. So next thing I know, I'm sitting in a car with Aaron.
You never know where it's going to be. Like literally things, if it wasn't for me ending up at Corky's, I had the idea for the software when I was waiting tables, rolling silverware, and the women on the phone were taking catering orders. It's like, why are you asking these people the same information every day?
Every time.
If you had a database, and if I knew how to program, I could have built them a simple system for production and planning or whatever. So the idea sat on a shelf for 20 years. And then when I got divorced, I bootstrapped it for $30K. And
I love it.
Yeah. So
it's
I'm
funny
unemployable.
Yeah, exactly. It's funny when you're doing service jobs like that. Like when I was doing the bar backing stuff, just the random thoughts you have while you're doing monotonous work, right? Just cleaning tables, cleaning dishes. You just have so many ideas running through your head. It's cool to see that you took action on it.
Well, what's crazy is, the guy has passed. His son and I grew up in the same neighborhood, but we weren't like big buddies. Now he lives down in Florida where I've got a place, so I hang out with him some, and he's a great family. The kids worked hard in the business. They weren't handed anything, they weren't entitled. And my brain does not shut off with ideas. And I would chase him down the restaurant. Hey, Don, what if we did this? Hey, Don, what if we did this? And we had the general manager, Robbie, she didn't want to change anything. She was not a fun person. And I think he just started hiding from me. And they were all good ideas. She went out of town once, and I redesigned the drive-through window to make it quicker. And then just in spite, she moved it back. Like I sped up the times. It's like, F you, like whatever. So then I had to get your own. You have to get your own gig because you're not employable.
Yeah. Yep.
It's very difficult.
Some people are just stuck in their ways. It's tough.
Most people are stuck in their ways and they can't. I'm always breaking things, looking to make things better. It just doesn't. It's just the way I'm wired.
Yeah.
Which I guess it's good. Okay. So do y'all do anything besides catering? Do y'all do other things as well? Yeah,
so we've gotten into alcohol delivery. We have done pretty significant grocery deliveries now with our partnership with Wegmans. So one specific partner that we're doing some grocery stuff with. But yeah, we've dabbled in floral alcohol deliveries. We've done route-based deliveries in the past. So individual meals going to people. That was very big at the height of the pandemic.
Yeah.
So yeah, we've dabbled in other things. I think alcohol is probably the most prominent right now. We're certified in like 3 or 4 states where we're doing some alcohol work, but I think we're at a different place as a company, but where we're willing to take on more opportunities outside of just catering. But really the whole thing started with our CEO, Darian, and our leadership team, maybe 5 or 6 years ago at this point, read the book Good to Great by Jim Collins.
Yeah.
And we picked our hedgehog concept, right? What can you be the best in the world at? What are you passionate about? And it was catering. So we went all in on that and said, listen, we're never going to be the largest DSP. We're never going to outshine DoorDash or have that kind of the money that they or Uber have right now. But we could be the best in the world at buffet style catering setups as a third party. So we've just very narrowly focused in on that.
I do believe, there are riches and niches. And if you don't have the money of a Coke or a Nike, you do need to pick a lane and dominate it.
100%.
For sure.
And especially when we were starting, it was like such an overlooked niche itself, right? Like people absolutely needed help with catering. They were spinning their tires trying to hire their own drivers. And we've seen it come full circle from same brands, we will never outsource our catering to we have to sell all of these vans and stop hiring our own staff to do catering delivery. So yeah, we picked the right concept for sure.
It's interesting. When I had my restaurant, and again, I modeled off the Corky's in Memphis. I put one in Nashville.
Yeah.
They had a courier service that would take food. Most courier services didn't want to touch food because, as you know, it's very time dependent. If I need you to deliver a document to a law firm, who gives a shit if it's there 2, 3, 4? You want flowers for your wife for Valentine's Day. You don't care if it shows up at 8 a.m. or 8 p.m. Just get the damn flowers there the day, right? So there's a lot of forgiveness. There's no forgiveness in food. They're eating at 12.
Yep.
So it's almost like a masochist business. So we looked all over, and I don't know if this guy came into us or we found him. His name was Chuck Hargrove, and the dude was a hustler. He worked out of his house. He had a Miata, delivering that food out of a Miata, right?
Nice.
And he had a bunch of gig employees before they were called gig employees, right? So Nashville, a lot of musicians. So he had musicians when they weren't on the road touring.
Sure.
They would drive, school teachers, retirees, stay-at-home moms. And those guys became almost like our family. Like the deal we made with them, like if they had to pick up a delivery, it's like, hey, come early, free coffee, free drinks. Yep. And back then there was a lot of corporate checks, right? It wasn't all credit card and house charges. Yeah. Hey, if you bring the check back today, we'll give you a sandwich, right? Yep. Kind of thing. Yep. And they call us up and go, hey, I'm having a family reunion. Could you cut us a deal? So even though they technically were 1099 to Courtesy Courier, they were like part of our team, right? It was a very unique standpoint. And they were so good, they would all stock their, and we gave them a ton of business. We'd have $2-3 on the registers before we unlocked the door. Sure. A lot of days. They would keep plates, silverware, barbecue sauce packs, silverware utensils, all in the back because we were their primary, that was really the only food account they had. So, and if there was a problem, they would, come back, make it right. Now we would pay them and take care of them. And so it's funny. It's the gig economy before the gig economy. Somebody said, oh, are you nervous doing a podcast interview? How many have you done? I said, well, technically I think I'm up to 10, 11, 12, but in a previous life, I had a newsletter and I would do audio newsletter. I would do an audio newsletter. So as opposed to us being on a Zoom call for whatever, I would call you up. I would have a telephone recording device and I'd interview you for an hour and I'd edit it, burn it on CD and mail it out with a hard copy. So before there was a podcast,
you were mailing CDs.
I was mailing CDs.
That's awesome. That is. How long did you do that for?
10 years. I've got 120 episodes. So I'm gonna tell myself I have like light narcolepsy. Like I don't sleep well at night. Yeah. The joke is if Michael gets in a car, he'll be asleep before he backs out of the driveway. Do it on planes and everything. Was terrible in college. Yeah. Like one time I was going to the National Barbecue Association and my operating partner was driving and he had one of those front wheel drive cars. So the whole front is open. Like your feet could hit the gas pedals. Yep. I fall asleep and literally I pin his foot down with my left foot. I mean, there's a time my buddy and I went to Alabama on a Saturday night to party, and we're driving home at 3 a.m. He goes, "Man, can you just drive?" I swear the car went 15 yards and I stopped. I mean, it was
no, I'm out.
Yeah. So back to this, there were times I was so tired doing interviews, I'd fall asleep in the middle of the interview.
Oh, no.
Because people could keep talking and talking and talking.
Sure. Are you there? No.
No, there was no they're there, because if you give somebody open road, they could talk for, as my daughter says when she calls my dad, I could put the phone down and come back an hour later and he's still
going.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah. So you could definitely do that. So what made y'all decide to pivot into catering? Was there anything specific?
Yeah, I think it was really just the landscape at the time that it happened. So really earliest days of Deliver That, it started as OU delivery, and it was at Ohio University. John and Aaron were roommates, were college best friends, had gone to the same high school. So they had the idea of, hey, let's deliver stuff here on campus. This is like DoorDash isn't at Ohio University, Uber Eats, Postmates, they're not there. So almost overnight, they had a tweet and a Twitter account go viral, get a couple thousand people from OU following the account. They were using their cell phones, just getting text messages left and right to go pick up textbooks, Chipotle, whatever it is, right? Little stuff on campus. Fast forward, it becomes campus delivery, and they try to duplicate that business model at a few other universities. Then they graduate college, come back here to Canton where they're from. They were going door to door trying to sell this and realizing, okay, DoorDash is very prominent in major cities at this point. Postmates is pretty big at the time, Uber. So they went into, it was a Ruby Tuesdays around here. I don't think they're in business anymore, but they went into a Ruby Tuesdays and were pitching their service. And the guy was like, no, I don't need you to take my one-off meals at all. But he had 3 catering orders laid out on the table and needed them delivered that day. Didn't have drivers to do it. And he was like, I'll give you $30 cash for each one of these that you 2 guys can go take right now. And I think that was the light bulb moment that was like, whoa, that is way more than the, $2 we're charging.
Yeah.
We could pay drivers better. We could do so much more with a business model if there were fewer deliveries with higher margin to them. So I think that was the moment. And then it honestly it kind of stuck, and the timing was right where Easy Cater started Easy Dispatch, and that was exactly as they're making that pivot. So they went all in on it.
You can't beat luck.
No, you can't. It was lucky I was in the car with Aaron. It was lucky they walked into that Ruby Tuesdays.
Luck, timing. There's just certain things you just can't, and obviously, what do they say? Luck is when preparedness meets opportunity. But just sometimes you're in, Ray Kroc just happened to be selling milkshake machines. McDonald's brother. I mean, I don't have that kind of luck. I mean, I do okay luck, but I don't have like, $1 billion with a B luck. I just have 1,000 with a T luck. So, I'm sure you see a lot of operators, and you come across all sorts of situations. What do you see? And we could talk on a high level from their catering the way they run their catering business to delivery, packaging, whatever. What do you see some of the big mistakes that operators are making? Like if you were king for a day or consultant, say, hey, here's 3 things that we see all the time that need to be fixed. What are those things?
If we're talking about things that specifically need to be fixed, I think it's alignment inside of an organization for what their off-premise strategy is, right? And how much they value it. Because the most frustrating thing from my seat is to see a catering sales manager, or maybe they manage marketing for the team or whatever it is. It seems like there can be different roles that are assigned to manage catering, manage all things off-premise. See them super passionate about what they're doing, but not having buy-in from the rest of the organization, almost like you're the redhead stepchild of the organization, right? Like, oh yeah, this catering thing, but your ops team's not behind it. Your leadership team's not behind it. You're not getting the resources you need. So I think if I could just wave a wand, it would be whatever level you want to prioritize off premise, do it as a collective, do it as a group, when you walk away from the table, agree this is a priority or it's not a priority. Because we could talk about technology, packaging, all of the things. It has to start with, are we aligned that this is going to be an investment or not?
Yeah, it's funny you mentioned that. I had a conversation with somebody about, we do some work around culture.
Yep.
And what I call it is everybody drinking the Kool-Aid.
Yeah.
I need everybody drinking my Kool-Aid. If you're not drinking the Kool-Aid, like, you don't have to be the sharpest, you could be a 7 and you're drinking the Kool-Aid, but if you're a 10 and you're all about yourself and you're not a team player and you don't buy into what we're doing, I don't need you on my team, right?
Yep, 100%.
And where I see that especially is in the franchise world, because we've worked with a lot of franchise brands, right? And I'm not going to, let's take one that we worked with in the early days with Moe's Southwest Grill. That's part of their culture. You buy a territory, you're going to have a catering sales rep, you're going to push catering, and you're going to sell the hell out of catering, right?
Yep.
Other brands, it's like, here it is, here's the packaging, here's the marketing, if you want to sell it, and it's the 1% or the 80-20, not even 80-20, the guys that get it say, man, I'm just eking out a living out of my sandwich shop, but if I sell catering, I can make a lot of money.
Yep.
And I've done a lot of consulting. Back in the day, I consulted for like Domino's Pizza and spoke at all the trade shows. Like, I have a whole nother, all these things people talk about, like I was doing 20 years ago. Like, and it's documented. So I'm not, trying to steal anything from anybody else. But I told these franchise organizations, I said, you're not going to listen to me. But if you were going to listen to me, go sell franchises to people who used to do B2B corporate sales. A pharma rep, that guy that got laid off from his job, he's got a 401k, he's got a severance package, his wife works, they can afford it. He knows how to sell. He doesn't need to make sandwiches. You can hire the sandwich maker. You can hire the guy to supervise operation, but he can get out there and bring in a couple $100,000 in sale. And now all of a sudden, instead of making a $50,000 job, he's making $150 out of that store.
Yep. I love how you led with, you're not going to listen to me, but if you were, here's what you do. That's my favorite part of the whole thing.
Yeah, but I mean, it's like, you'll find out. How old are your kids?
We have 12, 2, and 8 months.
Damn.
Yeah, we got a spread.
Wow. Same baby mama?
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, were you like in a coma for 10 years, dude? I mean, that's a long thread.
Yeah. We restarted, that's for sure. And then we did it in bulk, back to back like that.
Well, it's good to knock them out. Mine were knocked out. And what you'll find is your kids will never think you're smart until they get older.
Yeah.
And sometimes your employees or your team members won't think you're smart until they fail and then they look backwards. I remember my son, he's very, very smart, went to Vanderbilt. I mean, Vanderbilt wouldn't even hire me to wash dishes. I wouldn't even pass the entrance exam to work in the dish hole. So he went to Vanderbilt, super smart kid. I mean, very accomplished. So smart that he didn't even go to the, Beta Society, some honor society he got inducted to. He didn't even go to.
Didn't even want to. Yeah.
And he goes, I said, I found out you got in, into this. Why didn't you invite me? Oh, it's no big deal. Dude, like I didn't get anything but an invite to the principal's office, and you're like doing shit that, I want to take pride in. And I remember when he was younger, I said, look, you want to go to a good school. It's not about the education. You can, I've gotten a great education, just self-taught.
Yeah.
It's about the connections. Because, the guy you go to school with, his father's CEO of this company or can open this store. And he goes, no, if you're smart enough, he was like, 10 years old or whatever. I'm like, okay. First job he got, I pick up the phone, like literally 60 seconds, I got him a job, right?
Yep.
So he's starting to believe. Then, do you know what Cutco knives are?
No, I don't think so.
Cutco knives, the gig is they have college students sell them in the summer, and you can make a lot of money. And you learn basically referral-based sales, and you go someone's kitchen and you demo the knives. They're very expensive, but they're really good. I still have a set from 1986.
Oh, wow. Well, you sold me on them.
Like seriously,
Yeah.
go get a Cutco knife. Sometimes they're at Costco, the college kids. So I told my kids, I said, if you go sell Cutco knives for the summer before you go to college, I'll match you dollar for dollar, up to $3,000.
Yeah.
I'm going to go in reverse order. My daughter's youngest. She lasted 10 days.
Okay.
I was like, okay, you can't deal with pressure. My son, he would call me up cussing, bitching, but he did it. And he made over $3,000 that summer. And I
That's
matched
awesome.
him $3,000. So $6,000 for a summer job, that's pretty good.
That's awesome.
But what you learn from that is phenomenal. But let me bring the point home. It's the fact that I could pick up my Rolodex and set him up with people I knew. That's why he sold, right?
Yep.
Like my parents' friends, they could have afforded the handle. My friends could afford, the whole $3,000 block set, with the steak knives. So I think he learned a valuable lesson about the value of your Rolodex and
100%.
connections.
I feel like looking back myself, that was something I wish I had embraced more going into school. I think I was more along the lines of where your son's head was at, which is like, let me just dominate college and let me pave my own path rather than going out and talking to people. And then you come full circle. I'm in the partnership world, and I'm realizing more and more everything is just people. Everything's just people. All companies kind of have the same issues that they're going through. There are different opportunities at each, and there's different structure to each, but everything's just people.
Without a doubt. It's definitely, there have been a lot of things in my life that the right person opened the door. And literally, I could have knocked on that door. What is it? It's not the door you knock on. It's the person inside that opens it for you.
There you go. Yeah.
I think I heard that. It's amazing. Instagram. How do people survive with all those great quotes?
Yeah.
Let's see. Leadership, growth. So talk about, you work on partnerships, right? So tell me a little bit about the type of partnerships you're looking for and what's important, and what you do for the organization. I think probably operations is the toughest, right? Because, it's like an air traffic controller, but in partnerships, what do you do specifically? And, what makes a good partner for y'all?
Yeah, I think the thing I'll tell people even when we're getting started is like if you want to work with a DSP and absolutely never talk to them, we're not the platform for you. So there are partners that will come on, send us deliveries. There's not a heightened need to talk to us, right? It doesn't have to be a regular cadence. But we're looking for people who have a North Star, have the alignment that I'm talking about when it comes to their off-premise. So much easier to work with somebody if they know where they're headed and you're not, as a delivery service, trying to drag them along or get clear answers that they can't provide to you. And then we're looking for people who are in it for the long haul in terms of a partnership, right? So tomorrow, any brand could turn us off, turn another DSP on and get things rocking. That being said, what we're committed to is getting better with our partners, right? So a lot of the milestones that we've achieved as a company are a result of the feedback that we get from restaurants, right? We want to build tech tools. We want to educate our drivers, all geared towards supporting restaurants' growth. I know you said it early in the intro, but how can we help restaurants make money? And from our perspective and the landscape of things right now, that's growing their first party catering, right? So can our drivers help market for you? Are you giving them the right materials to do so? Give them feedback about the technology that they're using.
Are your drivers doing marketing for your partners?
Yeah. So, I mean, even people who sign up and aren't at the time doing anything as far as like catering menu drop off, things like that, it's a part of every onboarding call. Like, what collateral are you giving drivers right now to drop off at a drop off? If you're not giving them any, you should start yesterday, right? So our driver, I mean, we're not going like, what do they call it when you go door to door almost and like drop off next to it?
Yeah, the doors. the door thing.
Yeah, so we're not doing like, hey, knock on the neighbor's door and drop off kind of thing, but we're doing the full buffet style setup. What I'm always encouraging people is menus, QR codes, things that direct them back to order specifically from you. Whatever that setup is right now should be given to our drivers every time so they can set it out and present it correctly.
So here's a question, because, I always think about crazy ideas, right? I'm a driver and I'm going to make $40 for this delivery, right? Which is a lot, because I don't want to have to deliver 20 ham sandwiches one at a time, right?
Yeah.
Is there an opportunity for a door hanger program with your partners and say, okay, you're doing Michael's Barbecue and I'm delivering to this office, and, one to the left, one to the right, two across, whatever, 4 or 5 doors in an office building. And, whether you walk in, you put a door hanger, say, hey, we were just delivering at, and you handwrite, ABC Orthodontics.
Yeah.
If you decide you want to give us a try, free brownies on your first order. And then there's a code and it's dash, the driver's
Driver's
right?
name.
And then they order, right? And then the driver gets a $25 spiff.
Yeah. No, 100%. I think.
Have y'all thought about that? Is that something that's been bannered around?
We have. I think it's something that we haven't made any investment in, right? So we're not out buying the door hangers or things like that. And even the scale that we're at right now, it would be selecting a subset of our drivers, right? Getting them qualified to that point, getting them close enough with the partners. But no, I don't think we've pursued it hard enough with the right partners to get something like that off the ground. But it has been kicked around. And right now it's very much like we'll drop off where we're at. Our, I feel like we have drivers that would love to do what you're describing.
And, maybe what you say is it's an extra $5 on the delivery, right? And the driver gets the $5 and then you split the commission, or there's something where there's an incentive for the guy goes like, because, you're not delivering. It's not like you're rushing back to do another catering. You're going to do one or two, you're going to do an early drop and a late. So I got 30 minutes and like, what the hell? I'm in the building. I'm on the floor to either knock on 4 doors or even just put a door hanger on 4 doors is like, it's nothing, right?
Yep. 100%.
And, point of differentiation. What do you think? Y'all definitely have, there's a couple of y'all that have really good reputations in the catering space. Yep. What do you think makes you special, makes you stand out? Because, everybody talks about DoorDash. It's like, if somebody can show up in pajama pants and, kind of thing. What makes y'all different, special? And why would somebody want to pay you a premium versus, dude, I could save $5 or $10 and go to DoorDash? Yep.
Yeah, I think it's the expectations and the education we give drivers on the front end, right? So I would be lying, any DSP would be lying to say that if you're using gig workers and they are in the food delivery space, we're all pulling from the same pool, right? Drivers on our platform drive for DoorDash, they drive for Uber Eats, they drive for these other platforms, and that's the same across the board. Like if somebody picks that line of work, it is very challenging to get them committed to one platform. I'm not saying it doesn't happen, and we have some drivers who make enough money on our platform that they don't need to do like mealtime gig work, but we're all pulling from the same pool. So we know that, and we have to set different standards, right? If they log into the Blue Deliver That app, they have to know going into it, there's a different standard that's going to be upheld. A lot of that is us being offensive, right? Giving that education up front. But there's also a big defensive component to it, right? You have to track your drivers. You have to really closely be in tune with their performance so that they know, hey, I'm on the right track and I can earn more money with this platform, or I'm going down a bad path and very quickly my account is going to be at risk with this platform if I'm not setting up the food, if I'm not dressed the part and restaurants are giving feedback. So yeah, I think it's the emphasis we put on the driver education. And then back to the type of partners that we're looking to work with. We're easy to get a hold of. We're easy to schedule calls with. If something goes wrong, we're going to be accountable. You're speaking to somebody who understands the value of catering. And if we don't get it right this time, we'll get it right the next time. We'll put an action plan in place to make sure things are going smoothly. So I think it's those two things. You don't want to be calling into a general support line to try to talk about your catering orders. You want a relationship with somebody who's doing this stuff. And our drivers really know that catering's different.
Yeah. So you talked about on a high level, everybody should be the same level of commitment to catering. But let's talk on a tactical level. When the driver rolls up, what are the things, and it could be even before they roll up, what are some mistakes you see these brands making that either are hurting themselves in the marketplace or is making it difficult for your driver to do their job properly?
Yeah, a big one is packaging. Packaging and operations, right? If the food's not ready when the driver gets there, our platform's going to compensate and try to keep that same driver committed, right? Other platforms, you may have 6 drivers show up if you have a 25-minute delay on a large catering order, right? So timing is going to make sure the food is fresh, make sure your driver stays on site. But the other one is just treating deliveries when they're going out with a third-party DSP like you would a catering pickup order, right? So you're going over that order in detail with your customer. You may be giving them a diagram for how it should be laid out. If an office admin comes in to do the pickup and they know they're going to go back and set up for their team, you're giving them a diagram that shows how your boxes should be folded, how things should be set up at the drop-off. So, yeah, I think being on time and committed to operational excellence, everything starts there. But then it's really packaging and how you treat things at the pickup, right? So some brands, the boxes are fantastic. Our drivers don't even need their bags. Some brands do the drop and go bags where it's like customers are getting branded bags. Right. And I think that level of detail is needed if you're gonna like lead the pack, right? I'm not saying that every brand can afford or has to do drop and go bags or have the perfect boxes. You kind of build your way to that, but the fundamentals are crucial.
Yeah, definitely packaging. And, one of the things we figured out really quickly, if you're going to put beans, you better tape it up.
Oh, yeah.
With duct tape to keep them from sloshing out. And
I've done like pans of gravy before too, like Thanksgiving time, and it can turn south in a heartbeat.
Yeah. So there's definitely that part of it. I would say a part that people don't realize just in life in general is being very appreciative of the people who serve you.
Yeah.
And for us, it's like, hey, you want a Coke, you want a drink, you want to go sit in our private party room and do the crossword puzzles. You want to make them feel valuable. A friend of mine laughs because I'll be on the phone with them and I'll say, hey, I appreciate you. Like, I do appreciate, I was at the grocery store. Damn straight, I appreciate you. I don't want to slice my own damn deli meat.
Yep.
So I do appreciate the people. And so they need to be appreciative. I mean, literally everybody, not just your customers, your third party, your vendors, the Cisco guy. It's that air of appreciation, and it sort of transmits in everything you do. It's like, I'm not an airy fairy person. It's the vibe. It's the energy. It's like, hey, these people, that's their attitude. It shows. And if you have a shitty attitude, it shows, because it shows in the employees. It shows in how things were packaged. It's all part of.
I don't think we'll just deem it like bad cultures or how you would run a restaurant. I don't think they always think about the ripple effect, right? If a driver has a fantastic experience at the handoff and they feel like they're a part of your team, that translates to the drop-off with the customer more than, a restaurant operator could ever know. And the same's true on the flip side, right? If you're disrespectful to a driver or you're blaming them for things that are out of their control, very quickly that can turn into a negative experience with a customer.
And nobody wants to do a favor for an asshole.
No.
If you're cool and something goes out, I'll wait a little longer because it's like, you're always cool to me. The other thing is, again, my brain doesn't shut down. When you go to the drive-through window at the bank and they have a dog biscuit for your dog.
Yeah.
Maybe keep some snacks for the driver. Like, hey, grab a cookie. Hey, we got cookies for the driver, or grab a piece of pie or something where they're going to be appreciative and they're going to go that little extra mile to make sure everything's just perfect. And if it's not, they'll do that. But if you're a fucking schmuck, they're going to be like, screw you. I don't care.
Yep. We had to start setting, my wife is a big Amazon Prime fan. So we had to start setting snacks outside of our house because I was like, it's the same guy all the time. We gotta hook him up. Yeah. So I mean, even stuff like that, and that's not applicable to our platform as much, but like if you're a frequent user of the Dash Pass or Amazon Prime, even just setting some snacks outside your house, more often than not, it's the same people repeating back to you. And people will go the extra mile. You know, you think about somebody's shopping for your groceries and going to deliver those. Are they just going to cancel an item, or are they going to reach out to you when they're out of stock of this one, but maybe there's another option? You never know how things come full circle. It's just treating people right.
Dude, I'm never in town, and when I get home, I've got 7 Amazon boxes on my front porch.
Yep.
And I'm like, I don't even know what I ordered.
Yeah.
Until I open it. It's like Christmas.
Yeah,
It's
every time it's a surprise.
Actually, I'll tell you a funny story. So I was in Costa Rica for a couple of weeks. I came home and I had like 4 or 5 Amazon boxes. I knew some of the things I was expecting. And there was this picture hanging kit. And it's, I don't know if you've seen it. It's like a 2-headed nail, 2-prong nail. And so you've got this special mallet. You nail the nail into the wood frame, and then there's another nail sticking out.
Okay.
And now you could put 10 around the frame, and then you put it exactly where you want, and then you press it into the sheetrock, and it's perfect. It doesn't move. It's perfect, right? And I'm like, which clown at Amazon packed the wrong? I didn't order this shit. Did I pay for something else and gave me the wrong thing? So my buddy comes over yesterday for lunch. We're going to go grab lunch, and he's helping me move something. I threw the thing away. Like, I didn't order this. He fished it out of the trash. He goes, what'd you do with this? I bought this for you as a present. I'm like, do you think you should have told me? And what the hell is it? And I said, funny. He goes, are you going to use it? I go, no, I'm not going to use it, but I appreciate it. It's like, it's just, it's the weirdest thing.
I love that he found it in the trash.
I don't know how he found it in the trash. Okay. As we sort of wind down, looking forward, where do you think AI, I'm sure you're using AI on some respect, but where do you think AI is going to take what you're doing? Like, where do you see the improvements?
Yeah, I think a lot of what we're committed to is great communication with our restaurant partners, right? If a driver's running more than 5 minutes late, we want to give you a heads up. Hey, here's the ETA, any downstream effects that we would predict from this. So a lot of that is outbound dials, right? And I have seen very cool stuff, and I haven't dove too deep on this, more on the ops side and just things I get to experience with them. But I've seen a lot of cool stuff when it comes to conversations and actual phone calls coming out of AI. Because I do think, especially with catering being a high ticket thing, communication is crucial. You don't want to, we're never going to want to be in a place where we just remove all of our human beings from our call center. But a lot of the outbound activity that's like, hey, driver's 5 minutes late, they're on their way type of thing, I think in the very near future will help us a lot. And then when we talk about, and there's a lot of technology around this already, but real-time optimizing for driver routes, I think have endless potential to continue improving. And we have a massive fleet of drivers at this point. Catering lead times are getting lower and lower. There are a lot of platforms that do delivery recovery where we'll get a delivery into our system. It's already 10 minutes overdue for pickup, but it's been sent to 3 different DSPs. Hey, who can get on site the fastest? I think routing and everything that we're doing customer support side of things when it comes to specifically outbound alert communication.
Yeah, I mean, what'll probably happen, I don't think it'll happen soon. One day you're just going to have robots, right?
That's it.
You're going to have a fleet of robots. And I don't know, I was talking with someone whether there will be something in an office building. Like, I got a high rise and I got a catering robot that does all these things. And then the food just rolls up in a Tesla with a hot and a cold box attached. The restaurant just puts it in and it's all coded, and then the robot knows where to pull it out and how to set it up, and totally nuts.
Just a catering specific table, right? Like Entrees are getting shifted here, the sides are getting shifted here, but our meals are always served on this table. Yeah.
Question. You talked about the setup sheet, and the first thing that came to mind, and you said something about QR codes. Does anybody have a QR code that leads to videos on how to set up?
They do. The brand, I think I posted this, I think it was Condado, that does this almost better than anybody. But you talk about treating it like a customer is picking up the food rather than a third-party driver. I mean, any driver can just scan the code that they're given and 30-second clip, here's how to set up our boxes, here's a demo of doing it. And I think in that 30 to 60-second clip, they show their two most popular variations. So it's like, here's a build-your-own bar, here's a pre-made taco bar. So, yeah, there are people doing that, and it couldn't be more obvious to me that is a worthy investment.
So can you do me a favor? Like, this is the shit I geek out on.
Yeah.
Because I'm already 3 steps down the road. Do you have a link to that video?
I do,
you can shoot me? Because what I'm thinking of in our platform, when you give somebody the catering ticket, it's got a QR code for setup, and the driver says, here, scan this. And then we build it in our system, and we can even host the videos on our online ordering platform as another tab, like how to set up your catering. But it'll take them there, and it'll be a really cool value add for the customer.
Yep. And anybody that we work with directly, right, we're building out articles on their cuisine. And sometimes they'll provide us videos. Sometimes Ben, our content team, will go out and actually do the videos ourselves.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's been crucial for us to give drivers that information, and having the platform that you have and partnering closely with these restaurants, it's a no-brainer to build that type of material for all of it, right? It really almost prevents or limits the liability of, hey, we're going to use a different DSP today, tomorrow, customer's going to pick it up today, right? Everybody knows here's how the food's set up. We've standardized it. So yeah, I'll definitely shoot that over to you.
Yeah, that's very cool. Okay.
You've been listening to Restaurant Catering Smarts. For more insights and episodes, make sure to follow along, subscribe, and share at CaterZen.com.